the message I have today is that time is on our side, that common sense is back in this country, and I just want to make sure, give you some hope that even in the most liberal provinces like Quebec and BC, there is possibilities, because the reality is going to hit them one day or the other, and the sooner the better. What's going on right now in Quebec is that we have a government who lied to us, basically. They got elected saying that they wanted Quebec to become the Norway of America in terms of natural resources. When they got elected a few years later, what they did is they adopted a bill to make sure that we cannot exploit any oil and gas anymore in Quebec. They deprived people who had rights, and now they're facing legal consequences for their lies. But even that, you know, they did it to look good in front of the media and the left in the National Assembly. But their policies just don't make sense, and the reality, slowly but surely, is hitting them. We have a government who they want us to make sure that we have all electric cars within 10 years. Quebec adopted the legislation way before it came out in Ottawa. We also have a government that is subsidizing heavily people who are transferring their consumption of gas and oil for their heating in their houses to make sure it's electricity. And now we're discovering that we have a shortage of electricity. Quebec having a shortage of electricity is like the Sahara Desert running out of sand. I mean, it makes no sense. We were the beavers of the world. Like, we have dams on every single river, and now we're running out of electricity. They're building a plant right now on the south shore of Montreal for electric batteries for cars to look good again. They're giving $4 billion of our tax money to a startup, an international startup, in a very risky business. And so their economic policies are going to hit the wall, for sure. It makes no sense what they're doing, where they're going. They're promising to build more dams, but as you know, even those people, even if they say it's green energy now, they have huge problems with the environmentalists. The same ones that were applauding them when they were attacking oil and gas industry are now saying that, the dams, it's not good. And there's also the Aboriginals that have to be taken in consideration for those territories. So it's going to take at least 10 to 20 years if they want to build a single dam. So they're not going to be able to fulfill the gap between what the consumption and the production of what's going on in Quebec. We have the chance in Quebec of being on top of, I think Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but the most important unexploited natural gas reserve, or one of the most important in the world. And there's something completely ridiculous that you guys here in Alberta are sending us, $12-13 billion a year in equalization payment, because you guys are smart enough to exploit your oil and gas industry, and you're sending that to a province where our premier is saying that it's dirty oil here in Alberta, but he's taking the $13 billion check, and he's doing, some press conferences to say that he's green, and he doesn't want to exploit, and he's having even a bill to ban the exploitation of natural gas in Quebec. So this hypocrisy needs to end. It's one of the reasons, it's not the only reason, but there's a lot of other reasons, but the betrayal of the CAQ is one of the reasons why I left the party. We started the party, there was 400 members and got 1% in 2018. I wasn't there. I was a radio host at the time. I decided 3 years ago, when the leader of the Conservative Party left, to run for the leadership of the party. Within a very short period of time, we went from we ended up with 13% of the vote last year in the election. It's the biggest increase that we've seen in our generation, a party starting from scratch, ending up with 13% of the vote. We went from 400 or 500 members to 63,000 members. We're the party with the most members right now in Quebec. And if there were an election today, we would win between 6 and 10 seats at the National Assembly, which is not huge. But at least there's momentum on our side, and there's something going on the ground. In the election, we got over 530,000 votes, which is almost the same amount as the Liberals, the Parti Québécois, and the Quebec Solidaire Party, but unfortunately our vote was spread. We didn't have any incumbents, and it didn't translate into seats. But we're going to keep fighting the good fight, and today I'm here to tell you that the population is not against oil and gas. The population is not against Alberta. When we do polls, the Léger poll is telling us 54% of Quebecers want us to exploit our natural resources, including oil and gas. 26% opposed, so it's more than 2-to-1 in favor of it. So if you want to be furious at Quebec because we're dependent on equalization payment and we refuse to exploit our natural resources, be furious at our government, not our people. And that's my message that I want to give you today. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much.